Okay, remember to write any equation, anytime you see the directions, write an equation. You're always going to do the same thing. You're going to start at point slope form to get to slope intercept. Every single time you see those directions on this whole practice test. So for number 1, you have x1, y1, and you have m equals 4. So you start with y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. This is your point slope. Sub them in. Y minus the negative 7 equals your slope of negative 4, x minus a negative 3. Both of these minus and negative change to plus. So you have y plus 7 equals negative 4 times x plus 3. Then distribute your negative 4. So you get y plus 7 equals negative 4x. Negative 4 times a positive 3 is a negative 12. Subtract 7 from both sides. You can get y equals negative 7 or negative 4x minus 19. Negative 4x minus 19. Minus 19. So your final answer for your equation is y equals negative 4x minus 19. You used your point slope form to get to slope intercept form. We know our slope is negative 4 and our y-intercept is negative 19. So what are the slope and y-intercept for y equals negative 9x minus 1? Remember, it's y equals mx plus b. So your slope is negative 9 and your y-intercept is negative 1. Moving on, number 3, write the equation. This time we're not given the slope, so we have to first find the slope. So we have m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You have x1, y1, x2, y2, so substitute them in. 0 minus a negative 6 changes to plus 4 minus 3. So you have 6 over 1, which is just plain old 6. Now we have a slope that's 6, and I'm going to pick the point 4, 0. Again, x1, y1. Anytime you see write an equation, remember, start at point slope, move to slope intercept. So you have y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So you have y minus 0 equals your slope of 6 times x minus 4. Distribute 6. Y minus 0 equals 6x. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. So y minus 0 is just 0. So if you add 0, you get y equals 6x minus 24. Now you're in slope intercept. You went from point slope to slope intercept. And you get y equals 6x minus 24. Number 4, write the equation. Anytime you see those directions, we're doing the same thing. You have a point, x1, y1. You have a slope, m. So start at point slope, move to slope intercept. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So sub them in. Y minus 2 equals your slope 3 halves times x minus 5. So now, again, do your distribution. It's okay to get a fraction. Y minus 2 equals 3 halves times x. 3 halves times negative 5. Let's do the scratch word. 3 over 2, negative 5 over 1. You get 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 halves. So I'm going to say minus 15 over 2. Now we're going to add 2 to both sides. Again, let's do this in the scratch word. Negative 15 over 2 plus 2 over 1. Get yourself a common denominator of 2. So you get negative 15 over 2 plus 4 over 2, which is negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11 over 2. So your final answer is y equals 3 halves x minus 11 over 2. Y equals 3 halves x minus 11 over 2. Number 5, write which equation is parallel. Remember, parallel means the same slope. the slope of this line is -3. So which of these lines has a slope of -3? For A, the slope is 3. For B, the slope is 1/3. For C, the slope is -1/3. And for D, the slope is -3. D has the same. Again, now we have the directions write an equation that describes the line that passes through this point. We have the point -5, 2, and is parallel. So we know it has the same slope as this line. The slope of this line is 3. So our slope is 3. That's the only thing I care about from this, is now I have my point that was given, and I have my slope because it was the same. So I'm going to do the exact same process that I've been doing. I'm going to go ahead and do my x1, y1, and I have my m right here. So we have y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Because anytime you have those directions, you have your point, your slope, and you get to slope intersect. So y minus 2 equals m, which is 3, times x plus 5. Then distribute your slope. And you have y minus 2 equals 3x plus 15. Add 2 to both sides, and you get y equals 3x plus 17. So your final answer is y equals 3x plus 17. Moving on to number 7. Number 7, which equation is perpendicular? So these are opposite reciprocal slopes. The slope of this line is 2. So I'm looking for a slope that's opposite negative. Reciprocal is -1/2. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, look at the slope of A. The slope's -1/2. So it's definitely A, but let's just go ahead and check. The slope of B is 2. The slope of C is +1/2. And the slope of D is -2. So A is the only answer. Number 8 says, the graph of g of x is shown below. So g of x is right here. It was created by translating f of x up. So f of x, we had a line somewhere down here that moved up to form g of x. Remember, up would be a translation. So you're looking at your y-intercept. So if my y-intercept here for g of x is -1, and f of x went up to get there, to get to g of x, or to get to f of x, I'd have to go down. So 1, 2, 3. So f of x has a y-intercept that's -4. So I can eliminate C and D, and that's the only thing that changed, so it's going to have the same slope. So let's just find the slope of g of x. So it went up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, so it has to be B. Which describes the effect of f of x if the slope changes to -3. So if I had a slope of 4, well, we know that it's not a reflection, but slope went from 4 to 3, so the slope got smaller, which means that it became less steep. You could graph these two. You could say f of x is -4x plus 9, so you start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and do a slope of -1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. And you could go ahead and say that f of x has a nice line that's right here. So you have f of x's line right here. And you could change it to g of x equals -3x plus 9, and see what kind of effect that actually has on it. So you could say -3x plus 9. So you could start g of x at 9 and go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, and you can see it's less steep. Number 10 it says the function f of x equals negative 8x minus 6 is reflected across the y-axis. Anytime there's a reflection, the only change is the sign of the slope. Remember, they're opposites. So I would say g of x equals, if here the slope was negative 8, the slope's going to be positive 8x minus 6. Now we have the question, write an equation. Again, same thing. In slope-intercept form that has a slope of 1/4 and a y-intercept of negative 9. Oh, so we can just go straight to slope-intercept form and do y equals 1/4 x minus 9. Let's go to number 12, graph the line. So we know that our slope, our y-intercept b, so my slope is 3/2. So I know that I rise to the right 3, and I rise up 3, and then you run to the right 2. But you start at negative 2 because that's your y-intercept. So you start at negative 2, go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, 2, down 1, 2, 3 to the left 1, 2, and then connect. Number 13 says write an equation in point slope form. So now I don't have to do anything after point slope form. I know it's y. I know my point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So I have a slope, an x1, and a y1. So I would just make it y minus 6 equals m, which is negative 1/5, times x minus 4. Minus a negative 4, sorry, my pro board's acting goofy, so it becomes x plus 4. Which lines are parallel? You need to show your work. You need to put all of them in slope-intercept form because they all have to have the same slope. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do each of them. So for 1, it started out at 4x plus 3y equals 15. Save the best for last. So you had to first subtract 4x from both sides. And I had 3y equals, this is a positive 15, so it's negative 4x plus 15. Then I have to divide everything by 3. So y equals, they cancel, negative 4 thirds x plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. So my m is negative 4 thirds. I'm going to make it over here. M equals negative 4 thirds. For 2, it's 3x minus 4y equals negative 8. Again, save the best for last. This is a positive 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides and get negative 4y, because you're negative right there, equals negative 3x minus an 8, because that's a negative 8. Divide everything by negative 4, and I get y equals, they cancel, and your negatives cancel here, and you're left with 3/4 x. Negative divided by a negative is a positive 2. So for 2, your slope is positive 3/4. For 3, you have y plus 1 equals 4 thirds times x minus 6. So we have to distribute, and you get y plus 1 equals 4 thirds x. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8, so it's minus 8. Subtract 1, subtract 1. Y equals 4 thirds x minus 9. So here my slope is positive 4 thirds. And last but not least, 4 is already in slope-intercept form. So for 4, your slope is just 3/4. So now that we have them all in slope-intercept form, now we can look and see that 2 and 4 both had the same slope. Go on to the next video to see the rest.